Which mic?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. All right. You guys all comfortable? Can you hear my voice okay? This is the waiting music. World War II. Didn't you love that prayer? Now that's how you're supposed to speak English. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Okay. Oh, I hope you're not hoping for one of those 10-minute inspirational sermons. I didn't come all the way just for 10 minutes, and neither did you. Aju? You guys, some of you guys remember coming here and listening to 10 or 20-hour messages, right? My God. Okay, everybody have their helmets? Is that okay? Is that okay? More approachable? Okay, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you now, Kimi and Justin and your families for hosting here at the Belvedere Community. Let's give Belvedere a big round of applause. This is the, isn't this officially the International Training Center? Was that title ever removed, Mike? I don't think so. It's still that title, right? Right here. The plaque to prove it. Yeah, thank you for coming. I came to give you what I believe is a providential message. I will be sharing True Mother's words, but first I want to briefly establish some background for context. Okay? And so work with me on this one. So you're all aware of the situation. This is a little hot. You're all aware of the situation, at least to some degree, in Korea, right? Like now Kimi mentioned, yeah. I really hope that our spirit from international community and from America and the rest of the world, I really hope that our spirit can be felt as an empowering, an embracing, and an encouraging spirit. I think really for our members in Japan, and now also for our members in Korea, there may even be a few from Japan and Korea watching. So what do you say we all look at the camera and make some noise and give them some encouragement? Round of applause. Come on. You can do better than that! So, in some sense, you may think that I came back to give you something. But the truth is, our leaders and members across America sincerely, doing your best to unite in heart with Mother. I really feel that. So in some sense, I'm actually not coming here because I need to bring you guys up to speed. I'm coming here to be charged up by you guys to bring your heart back to Korea. Hallelujah. So, let me give you some background just for those of you that don't know. Because, I went to say hi to some folks just before we started, and a few of you had mentioned, it's like, it seems like we've been through a few months of radio silence. Honestly, my character, if you know me, the lawyers would be afraid of me always because I would want to. I just really want to go live and just tell everything all the time. So don't assume if I ever hold back that it's because I want to. Okay, but I think there's more that I can share today. On December 3, 2024, President Yoon of South Korea declared martial law. December 3 of 2024, December 3. I remember actually being on the phone with Korea that very minute, and the person I was speaking to said, "Oh my God, Korea's just declared war." And I'm like, what? What? South Korea just declared war? North Korea just, what happened? But it turned out to be martial law. That, for any of you that know Korean history, it's a particularly sensitive nerve because the last time that happened, a few people got killed. Not that that was the intention this time. There are several reports that indicate that the president of the PPP, that's the People's Power Party, PPP, President Yoon, he was the president that declared martial law, and apparently at the time he was really struggling to govern the country because very limited within the conservative power structure. Okay, so he apparently did this to somehow right some wrong. And some of you know about this, but it really doesn't matter so much at this point. The point is it plunged the country into an unprecedented period of political crisis and turmoil. 6 months later, on June 3, I believe, June 3, the opposition party leader, Lee Jae-myung, was elected. So there was 6 months when really Korea did not have a proper government. And Lee Jae-myung, the current president, was sworn in the following day on June 4 of this year. So he is from the Minju party. So that's like the Democratic Party, and the PPP is like the Conservative Party. There's other parties, but they join together. During that time, you may remember that North Korea was strengthening and emboldening its ties and support of Russia in the Russia-Ukraine war. There's many, many, many more things on the geopolitical stage that would be worth laying out. Mother is certainly aware of them and concerned about it all. And in her words, she touches upon it lightly in a minute. But this is where we've been since December. Now I want to mention a little bit more about our church. So prior to that, prior to the martial law problem, both internal and external investigations into the conduct of a former leader, Yoon. He's the former leader. Many of you will have recognized him emceeing big events and stuff. Honestly, most of the things that happen at this level of the organization, it would be hard for any folks across America to really know, well, how does that affect me? It does affect the worldwide movement. Of course, what's happening in Korea does affect eventually, but you may not have known, many people may not have even known his name, or you don't know what positions they hold. I know how it is. Even for the leaders, honestly, even for the national level leaders, all we want to know is, okay, where do we send our reports, you know? It's hard to stay on top of all of the twists and turns of leadership and governance structure at the highest level. So we just get on with loving our families and trying to build our communities. Nonetheless, he was a very high-level leader in the organization for some time. And after he was removed from his position, there was actually an internal investigation being conducted. We will not have known of that. I did not know of it. That means that there may have been some concern about misconduct internally, at least internally, if not externally. And by internally, I mean just a church problem versus sort of a legal problem or anything like that. But there was an investigation being conducted also by the police in Korea for certain allegations at the time. So in other words, I'm just trying to give you the background. Something was brewing. I did not know about it, but something was brewing, just for context. And at this point, I want to say very clearly that any unethical or illegal conduct done by a church leader or a church member representing the church, whether it's an internal mistake or an external legal matter, has to be addressed, right? Reformation and improvement will always be needed to better serve Heavenly Parent, serve one another, and serve our communities. Are you? So we must reform any aspect of our governance that contradicts the purpose of our organization. I'm sure we all agree with this, right? And I think also we would wish to do so in a loving way and compassionate way and considerate way. And I've noticed so many times, in fact, more times than not, the way true parents behave around our mistakes is so loving, so forgiving that most of us can't even grapple, right? Most of us can't grapple with it because we would rather just quickly, address issues. But just keep in mind the way true parents and the way God listens to our confessions and watches our mistakes, and the way God and true parents embrace us and sacrifice for us and many times pay indemnity for us is so remarkable that at least it should serve as a reminder that how we treat one another, no matter how poor of a conduct we may find one another doing, just keep in mind, God has set the ultimate standard. Are you? But we can't pretend things, if there are things going on, we can't pretend they're not going on. We have to address things, right? So this is all just for context. But today I'm not here to talk about, what was going on internally. I still don't know, actually, even if I wanted to talk about it. I've heard some things, but I don't know, and I don't think that it's important at this point. There were certain things perhaps going on internally, and there may have also been things going on externally. So certain leaders, primarily Yoon, has been accused and even testified to doing certain things that influence, what would you say, political lobbying. This is basically what he's been accused of. And everything that's going on right now is actually based on his testimony. So I don't know what kind of deal or what kind of motive he would have to blame everything on Mother. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. And by the way, I know of major projects, great projects, multi-million-dollar projects, good ones, that he worked on for good reason, for providence. So it's actually not that the ends were even necessarily bad goals or bad projects, but the means to which he was reaching those ends. I can't speak to those things. But I know of many projects, I came to find out later, that he authorized and spent money on good projects and finished those projects before Mother ever even heard about it. So it's very strange, the idea of, him asking Mother's involvement for the purchase of a $30,000 handbag or something like this, or anything in that realm. And by the way, I've been watching closely, and if you're wondering, yes, Mother, Father, they're operating at such an extraordinarily different level that even when we talk about these things, it's almost like it's two different worlds. So the idea of Mother meddling in low-level political lobbying with intent is so ridiculous. Thanks, Bruce. So ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous. But to those who would look with secular eyes, not necessarily. Quite possible, even probable, because it happens all the time. Happens all the time in Korea. I'll tell you right now one funny story that really kind of sells the whole thing, if you're wondering. It's like, I heard a story a couple of days ago of one of the leaders that was being interrogated, And this isn't really like highly confidential information. I think this was sort of a pre-interrogation walkthrough with his cell phone. And by the way, you know, these guys are hardcore. They come to you, they take your cell phone, they take your computer, they'll take, some people lost their cars. I don't know why I don't know what they want from the car. But there's this one story that I just heard where one of the leaders' phones was being looked through for, you know, texts or correspondence with PP party members, with the Conservative Party members, right? Looking, because our church has been accused of supporting the Conservative Party in Korea, right? So looking. Couldn't find anything. Could only find tons of correspondence with Minju Party leaders. Did I say that? Sorry, this is streaming live. We're in America, so we're going to... freedom of speech. So on this phone, yeah, so for all you watching, I'm not like pushing it on you, just, you know, hey, you know, it's a good thing if you want to know what it's like. It feels really good. As soon as I got here, I felt like I could breathe. I'm still not using the full lung capacity. It's like, you know, you get tighter and tighter. Okay, so this was being explained to me. So just imagine the scene of this prosecutor looking through, you know, irritated that he can't find any conservative names. All he could find was these, you know, Democratic names, well-known names, contact information, correspondence. You know, we don't need that. You're free. You're good to go. So, we have, as in America, I'm not going to do like a show of hands, but we have people from the full political spectrum in our own movement, don't we? It's the same in Korea. It's the same. And so some members support this, that, some leaders support this or that. So, you know, are they interested in the truth? Are they interested in every little way that the church has influenced the political sphere? If they were, then they would be interested in all names. They would be interested in all correspondence on all sides, not just one particular party, which happens to be the opposition party. And, you know, God, somebody on YouTube told me I've got to be careful what I say. They might stop me for coming back into Korea. By the way, I really love Korea. And so I love Korea. I love Korean people. I love America. I love American people. I just have a hard time, like, I have a hard time with, you know, evil people, okay? Wherever they come from. So, and it's not really evil people. It's evil that works through people, right? So I love all people. Okay, because we can all fail. So, I'm not here to talk about the internal problems or the legal problems per se, but it is important to understand this background. And now the key point I want to bring up is about persecution. It has become very clear to me that what is currently happening is far more than a mere legal investigation. Some will argue, and have done, that we are not victims of religious persecution. I get it, because if you just look at it, I mean, certainly if you look at the news, we are really bad people. If you're wondering, can you fully trust the news coming out of that place? No. Just in case you're wondering. But some will argue that, well, if there was anything, you know, it's fair, right? If there's even an accusation of foul play or something that's illegal, it should be investigated. It should be investigated and taken care of. I started by saying that, did I not? So given that, please don't assume that I don't appreciate that. And some people, really have wanted to cool off on the volume about the religious persecution aspect. They say because it's just of the alleged errors of some leaders of our movement that needs to be looked into. Fine. They're charged with affecting the outcome of an election, as I said. However, the special prosecutor has gone way beyond the scope of what would be necessary to pursue this investigation. First, it's important to note, sorry, we're going to do a little lesson. Feel free to take notes, okay? It's a little lesson. I think you're American people, most of you know this. It's important to note that in a democracy, the separation of church and state was created to protect freedom of religion, not to shield politics from spiritual influence. Did you know that? I will. In a democracy, because everybody loves, well, not everybody, but there are a few people that love, actually, I hardly ever hear religious people talking about separation of church and state. Don't you know separation of church? It's always when somebody's forwarding a secular view about something that they raise this separation of church and state. But the separation of church and state was not put in place to protect politics from spiritual influence. It was the other way around. It was to protect freedom of religion from political power dominating people's right to believe and to congregate and so on. So this country is founded on that, so let's not be confused. But when distorted, this separation of church and state, when distorted, it can become a tool to suppress faith in the name of secularism, turning protection into persecution. Do you understand? Secondly, this is just for anybody that's struggling to understand that this is persecution of religion. Secondly, first of all, people say it's not really religious persecution because it's a legal matter. There's a legal problem. They're pursuing okay, fine. Nearly all major cases of religious persecution in history involve political motive. So just because politics is involved doesn't mean, I don't know what people imagine when they think about religious persecution. They might have a bunch of people with different colored hats on with pitchforks outside a church preaching a different kind of gospel. No, it's almost always enforced by political powers for political motive. Usually what's political motive? It's just power. Men after power. Any side is capable of this, right? It's from political motives masked by legal or ideological justifications. Always. In these cases, law is used not to administer justice, but to restrain or dismantle independent moral and spiritual power. Now just imagine any perception of overreach, any perception of unfair treatment. How does it make the members feel? In an already hostile environment, how does it make the members feel? Is it they want to go witness? They want to invite people to church? So it doesn't take much to dampen morale, right? Now, of course, we have faith, we want to be strong, but it has this weakening of people's morale and it's a test. So I'm going to go over a quick timeline, okay? First of all, let us give True Mother a round of applause for building the first home for a Heavenly Parent in human history. That was April 13. April 13, the entrance ceremony for the Chonel Sanctum of the Chomwanggung. Aja! And it is beautiful. It is beautiful. It is really beautiful. All right. April 13, less than a month. It was May 12 a travel ban was placed on Mother. Less than a month after the entrance ceremony. Just a few weeks after everybody got back home. Probably some of you still hadn't unpacked your bags. Mother's bags were packed because she wanted to go traveling. Do you know where she wanted to go? She wanted to come to America. She wanted to come to America. And I happen to know, and I think it's okay at this point, Mike, to reveal her now canceled travel plans. You know, we're usually very careful about travel plans, revealing that, but she actually wanted to come and spend several months. And she wanted to tour Sedona and the Grand Canyon and all these areas that you probably saw pictures and heard the reports of the true grandchildren. Mother wanted to be there with them. And now for Mother, this was not just, another trip. This was not just another trip to America after big events. This wasn't just a big trip after the opening of this major temple. This was, I think, Mother wanting to take a beat, just a moment to breathe after 13 years. Under her leadership, what she had to go through and fight through to get to that point. The leadership around Mother at the time were desperate to lift this ridiculous travel ban. And they did their best. But finally they had to let Mother know. The sad news is Mother already had her bags packed. I mean, she must have had her hair done. She had her travel clothes on. She had her bags packed for sure. And within just hours of the departure time, because they were working right up to the end to try and solve this ridiculous problem without even having to bother Mother about it. And you can understand, because you don't want to burden Mother. But she found out, I found out about it before she did. I think I was the only one outside of a small group of 2 or 3 people, because she was due to come to Las Vegas and I was there waiting for her. And there were certain things that they were hoping America could help with quickly to try and lift this ban before it became a problem. So I was also requested not to tell anybody, and for good reason. Because it's kind of like very strange. What is this? And then if media picks up, they make something out of it. It's just not good. And so they wanted to really protect the information, but that's to protect Mother. It's not anything else. And there's a lot of things that get said about leadership. But honestly, anybody that's led anything, you know that once you're responsible for something, your perspective is slightly different than looking from the outside. And you're the one that has to be responsible to make those decisions, right or wrong. Right now, Kimmy? You got to make those decisions. So that's why, all we can do is really do our best to pray for and support leadership and try to fill in the gaps that we find they may leave behind. And if changes have to take place, be ready for that. But yeah, we got to kind of stick together and support our leaders in the meantime. And so I understood the request to not tell anyone, but I trusted my anointing and my responsibility, and I brought a trusted group of people together. I built, by the end of that week, a small team of trusted advisors. Sorry if you weren't among them. There's actually many people here that could have been brought into that group, but I just brought in immediate, current and just former leaders who are all uniquely equipped to help me understand what was going on in Korea and what we must do. I'll tell you who was in this group. This is still an existing group. Dr. Ki-Hoon Kim, Attorney Gerard Willis, Attorney William Lay. God bless you, Bill. We love you. Let's give it up for Bill. Dr. Thomas Walsh, Dr. Taj Hamad, Dr. Michael Jenkins, Tom McDivitt, Stephen Jarris, Tal Zora, and Minister Curtis Farrow, who is our PR agency of record, and myself. And we worked hard with some scraps of internal information and whatever we could glean from the news to figure out what would we do if this was happening in America, what is it we might possibly do to support from America. Now, I happened to find out later that similar things were going on in Japan and Europe, but actually the only people that were being listened to was America, and that was largely because we have some very influential friends that they were hoping to get some help from. And yes, as everyone maybe, well, some of you may know, the leadership culture of the time was extremely careful about information. So it was very hard for anyone, even in the neighboring office probably, to really know what was going on, just in case you wondered. So if you're wondering why there was radio silence here, it's because it's a very sensitive situation. How's the news dealing with this? And we don't want to create more problems for Mother than she's already dealing with. But from the very beginning, you may wonder, what is it that America was advising? Now, this isn't to judge anyone, but I just want, this is as transparent as I think I can afford to be here. There's about 20 things we advise. I'm going to read to you the top 10 things we advised immediately. 1, assume the worst case scenario. Do not make the mistake of thinking that they're not going to go after Mother. And even then, what's the worst case scenario? So you have to think of the worst case scenario, because anything that you prepare for less, you're going to be exposed, right? If something worse than what you expect happens. So that's absolute 101 in a crisis. You expect the worst case. Number 2, hire a personal attorney for Mother. Now that might it might look like suspicion of guilt just doing that. No. There is a very real legal case being mounted. There's legal accusations being made against the movement. The first thing you need to protect is Mother and her, executive team, of course. But hire a personal defense attorney for Mother to shield her first from everything and without any conflict of interest, right? Number 3, hire a crisis communications firm. That's not a PR agency. PR is the kind of stuff that's like good weather stuff. Crisis communications is like bad weather stuff, okay? That's one way of thinking about it. Number 4, appoint a spokesperson. Number 5, launch an internal investigation and let it be known. Okay, so there's things that we're being accused of. Let us conduct our own investigation and let them know about it, because if you don't, then you just let the special prosecutors conduct their investigation, leak what they want to the media, and now they're telling the story, we're not. Right? Launch an internal investigation and let it be known. Number 6, pull together the key leaders from the international community to help steer through the storm. Good idea? We've got incredible assets. IHQ, great people, but they're not the only incredible people in the movement around the world. We have brilliant people around the world who can help. And then number 8, establish a communication system to keep everyone informed and on the same page. Number 9, organize both political and media support strategies. So not just legal. There's 3 battlefields, right? So there's legal, there's media, and there's political influence, okay? And so on. A long list of these types of advice came from our team that I just listed. Let's give them a round of applause, because they worked really hard. Now, it's easy to look from the outside and say, well, all you need to do is beep, 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 right? And of course, every country is different. Legal systems vary. If any of you are followers of my Instagram, thank you. If not, please use your phone right now and follow me. There's a very important picture of SpongeBob in there that will explain how I feel about giving advice to certain people in foreign countries, not to mention any names or places. But if you want to know what I'm talking about over there, you young people, open your Instagram and look for my name. Nonetheless, a lot of what we were doing was appreciated, but it was not so easy for leadership. They were dealing with a massive issue. And I always respect the fact that unless you're in the legal briefings yourself, you actually don't know what's going on. And that made it harder for us, because knowing that makes you more careful. That made it something we can't talk about on Sunday. We can't write letters. We can't like, oh, you know, let's write up an article in the Washington Times. Well, it hasn't broken yet. Nobody knows about it. So why open that door? Because people come knocking and asking questions. We actually don't know how to answer those questions because we don't know what's going on, right? So you have to trust, and you have to unite and trust leadership, which is what we did. And there was certain little things we were, you know, being asked to do. But honestly speaking, I believe that the total, you know, offering that America had to offer, and I'm sure Europe and Japan and other places as well, all that we had to offer was not really being fully received. Maybe because it wasn't understood, or maybe because they truly believed it wasn't needed. Maybe it wasn't needed. I would stand here before you today and say, of course it was needed. But, you know, I don't want to blame anybody, okay? Finally, okay, so it's like I couldn't even really tell the leaders. This particular group that I went against protocol to put this group together, I was sharing everything that I knew regularly, and they were sharing whatever they could glean with me. So we created this kind of trust bank, and it helped us. It helped us. It also helped us to be ready when we were finally asked to do something. This is about 5 weeks ago. Now, you remember, there was a moment where I was in a meeting with Mother and several leaders, and it was a very interesting moment where Mother was speaking to someone, and she was saying, if such and such doesn't happen, you know, by tomorrow, I'm going to need to she didn't say activate Demian, I'm going to need to ask Demian and all international leaders to go. Like Thunderbirds. Anybody ever watch Thunderbirds? It's like Thunderbirds Go. Remember that animation? Is that the puppet ones, the one with puppets? It's like, let's pull up the music for Thunderbirds. If we can find the music, the theme music for Thunderbirds, I want just a childhood memory. It was like that moment, Thunderbirds Go. You know, I don't know if that was their thing. It seems to be, right? Was it Thunderbirds Go? Anyway, that's what it felt like when Mother was like, because I'm just there, you know, and what can America do? But there was this sense that I could see, oh, Mother's like waiting for a moment where if certain things aren't put in order quickly, she's going to activate America. And when she says that, she means the world. Because for true parents, America is the world. And look at us. Aren't we the world? All right. So let's give the world a hand. Because before we were American, we were the world. We are the world. No, don't worry. Okay. So finally, about 5 weeks ago, United States was officially activated. True Mother sent me to Washington, D.C. to go with Dr. Jenkins and meet key specific people. I won't name them. Based on Mother's instruction and based on their feedback, we knew that it meant we were supposed to activate everything at our disposal. So it's not like, oh, Mother says, go 2 step right, 2 step left, 2 step. No, it means, look, start going in that direction, figure it out, right? Activate, right? So activate America, and whatever you can do, you know, help, okay? So, so Dr. Jenkins and I, honestly, I think as far back as February, Dr. Jenkins and I have been spending a lot of time on the phone together because that whole petition thing for Japan, working on Japan, which is still going on, and now with Korea. So let's give Dr. Michael Jenkins a big round of applause. He's probably watching, and he does love your love. So if you can look at the camera and just say, we love you, Mike. So it was amazing. Actually, you know, I always be careful. Don't worry, Dr. Jenkins, I'll be careful. But, you know, doors were opening in very high places in such short amount of time. Things that would usually take weeks took hours. Like within a 24-hour cycle from landing in America, we were already in such places as you might wish to be in a very short amount of time if you needed immediate support from the most powerful people. Okay? So that is a testimony to, of course, our leaders' relationships, like Dr. Jenkins, like Minister Reiko Jenkins, and others who have, you know, we've got Dr. Walsh and Taj Hamad, these elders who have created such incredible foundations with VIPs in America and around the world. Let's give them a round, come on. But it's really True Parents Foundation, right? We're all serving at True Parents Joy and Pleasure. And so this is the foundation of True Parents being activated. And it was a miracle to watch, just door after door opening. It was incredible support for Mother. And so based on all of this, we not only strengthened our American team, our political ground game, we're starting to figure out where we can enter into the media ground game. That's like the Air Force, politics, more like the Navy. So these other two battlefields of this war, we're starting to engage. America's getting in on the action, folks. Come on, let's give it up for US of A! But not only that, we started to strengthen and build more effective bridges of relationship and communication with leadership in Korea, by which time the sort of revolving door of leadership in Korea. So, that's another factor, but there's an increasing level of trust and expectation from America, honestly, in large part because options were running thin in Korea. So that kind of forces a certain humility upon people. You remember we did these conferences. There was 2 conferences. We were supposed to do a conference every week from August to December. Can you imagine? And then they finally rethought things through. We'll do one every 2 weeks. Well, we did 2 conferences, and then that was canceled in lieu of some better strategy. Also, leadership was changing. All right, so we did the conferences. I just got back from my second conference. I don't even remember when it was that I went. Stephen and Yumiko and I were on our way to the airport, and we stopped off at Lotte Hotel for a coffee to meet with someone who is responsible to lead the legal battle and other things over there. And he said, "Please don't go." And he didn't even know what it was I could do for him. And Stephen and I looked at each other and said, "You know what? Actually, it feels like what they need right now is just our moral support." Actually, we have so many great ideas. Again, look at my Instagram if you want to know what happens with good ideas. We have so many good ideas, but it's not just the ideas. It's just being there, the moral support. So we felt that. So for 3 or 4 days, we extended our stay in the Lotte Hotel. We started to get to know everybody by now in the hotel. It's not like Groundhog Day. We've been there for so many days and running out of underwear. And I mean, literally, I just took my carry-on, Hello, buddy. So that was going on. And then a few days later, September 2nd, I was called up to meet with Mother. And I won't read to you all those words. I'm going to get to Mother's words on a different day. But September 2nd and September 3rd, these were 2 days I met with Mother. And Mother gave me kind of an additional mission. And at some point, somebody was worried, is Demian being moved to Korea? Who's leading America? But just so you know, first of all, it's because of our leaders in America and because of our members in America that I can even spend a week in Korea not worrying, let alone a month or 2 or 3. So thank you so much. I want to ask all of our leaders present, please stand up. You know who you are. Please stand up. Don't worry. Just take the love. Come on. Those of you who are working hard, thank you. And now, all members must be recognized. So all members, please stand up. Come on. Please stand up. Members, and be recognized. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. Seriously, I'm not here because I worry about you. I'm here to bring your love back to Korea, okay? So thank you. Seriously, I didn't worry. About, and you might think, well, why does Demian have to worry? He just works behind an armchair. But actually, I'm not that kind of person. I'm really kind of hands-on with a lot of things, sometimes too much, right? Because I really want to understand many times in detail the organization, if I can. So to not be here is significant. To not be, we had weekly meetings. We have those weekly meetings, but it was a real testament to your guys' unity with True Mother, in my opinion. So thank you so much. So I stayed a few extra days, And Mother gave me an additional mission. And when she said this, I really felt like she was saying, okay, now it's not just I need some support from America, but I need America to be here. And what she said was, I want you to move into Hannam-dong. Move into Hannam-dong. That's True Parents' residence. This is where they lived up until the Chanjangung was opened, right? So many of you have been there. It's on the top of a hill in what is known as the UN village. This hill was given to foreign leadership, some military and some political and some probably civic, maybe even engineers at the time. I didn't study that history so well. But this entire hill was given for the sake of Allied support after the Korean War. And it was set up as sort of a bastion of leadership and support for Korea. It's overlooking the Han River. It's on the north side, I believe, of the Han River. And it's right opposite, if anybody's wondering, it's right opposite the river from Gangnam. You all know Gangnam, right? So, and by the way, also Hannah, my daughter, found a remarkable restaurant. Three. And I'll give $100. I don't even have $100 in my pocket, but I'll figure it out. I'll give $100 to anybody that can guess which restaurant this restaurant ripped off. Like they copied another restaurant. You guess the restaurant they copied in. Well, I heard Chick-fil-A. I hear a lot of people. Heaven G Burger. A lot of people saying Heaven G Burger. Who was first to say it? Who first said Heaven G Burger? Daniela? Vero? I didn't hear it anybody say it. In and out. In and out. Any Californians here? Oh, only one? Two? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I know you think like Five Guys is really great. But In and Out is where it's at for me, and it happens to be True Parents' favorite burger, Father too, before he went to Spirit World. So I'm sure he's eating some In and Out up there in the Spirit World, right, Father? Yep, In and Out. So my God, I'm getting no Western love here. Easterners, Northeasterners, cold Northeasterners. What is it you all eat over here? Dim sum? What is it? What is it? What's you're into? Just McDonald's? Five Guys? Shake Shack. In and Out is delicious. And Hannah found a restaurant in Seoul, and this guy literally loved In and Out so much, he ripped it off and rebuilt it under the name Cry Cheeseburger. So check it out next time you're in Seoul. Thank God, Mama, I just saved $100. Okay. Not really fair, is it? All right, so True Mother gave this mission. Now, Stephen and I are there. Stephen, God bless Stephen Jarris, if you're watching, it's late, you should get to sleep. But, we ended up like this unlikely duo out there. Now what have we been asked to do, Taj? We've been asked to set up the Office of International Public Affairs from Hannam-dong, top of the UN village from the Peace Embassy. We're sitting there, they have a whole staff there. There's like 10 or 15 people that work there. Margie Moon, if you're watching, God bless you. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. The guys working at Hannam-dong, they're amazing. It's a beautiful property. And Sunjanim's couple, I think, 8 years or 10 years ago, they did a wonderful job, renovating it. It's wonderful. It's the garden is beautiful. And Mother said, please go there and please meet, please invite, ambassadors, VIPs, just love them, serve them, embrace them, let them become like our family. And then when they go back to their countries, they'll know who we are, And she's saying, ambassadors, for example, they come 2 years, 3 years, 4 year, appointments. So after they go back, they'll tell their nations about, who we really are. So it wasn't until after I left, I'm driving back, and I'm thinking, wait, is this like a 2, 3, 4 year appointment? Like, what's going on? Right now, Kimmy's probably thinking the same thing. So I don't know. I just feel like Mother's trying to capture a moment. And there's so many parallels I can't tell you. Like there's so many World War II parallels, so many Korean War parallels. It's like when you think about what South Korea was going through in the Korean War, it needed all the help it could get. So the 16 UN member nations came, and America at the helm, right? And so it's like she's asking somehow again, the stakes are really high right now in Korea. And I felt Mother asking us to show up there in her home and trust us there in her home to represent her to the international community, to make friends with the international leadership, wherever they come from, wherever they may be, and however difficult it may be, to just love and embrace. Mother's type of education and witnessing is so loving and embracing. It's incredible. And I could just feel this kind of love emanating from her. She wanted to extend to the whole world through that place. Even when she's under fire, planes roaring overhead, dropping bombs every day through the news, right? Cannons firing from Navy ships over her every day. Political pressure, legal pressure, media pressure. And she's there thinking about, she said, host them. She turned to the national leader of Korea, Dr. Song. She said, Dr. Song, please help Demian. Please help them. They should host banquets and welcome people and love them and serve them. So it's like, man, mother's really trusting something here. And again, there's a mission there. There's some kind of a mission there. But I believe I've experienced many deeper levels of purpose to be there beyond this specific, mission, which I'm only giving you a few words about. In smaller groups, I'll share more. But so, we assembled this team that all unfortunately had to be pulled out of a 21-day workshop. They were kicking and screaming, but we brought them out of their sleeping bags to rough it and tough it in, beautiful rooms at Hannam-dong with a beautiful garden and koi pond outside. You wake up to the birds tweeting and the fish plopping and, the water flowing. It's gorgeous. And I felt kind of bad. The last leadership meeting, I was streaming from there, and I realized at the end that like all of our leaders were still in the workshop. Sorry, no, Kimi. But Mother, I feel Mother inviting America there. I want to read to you a couple of tweets from Newt Gingrich. This is an example of Navy support, political support that enters into where it delivers its power is through the Air Force, which is interesting. It's kind of like the airplanes that take off from the carriers, So, I don't know. Don't worry. There's a lot of military analogies because we are at war, so don't be confused. By the way, and if any of you read my letter, you'll remember that I said this. One of the things that Minister Farrow advised very early on in our team was, don't be confused. I know you're loving, God-loving people. I know you're church. But when you are being attacked, you can't act like it's a regular church on Sunday worship, experience. You are at war. When you are at war, even religious people have to become warriors. And we have to put the full armor of God on and be ready to take anything. We are at war. So that's why you're hearing so many war analogies, okay? Sorry, kids, don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. Here's a tweet from Newt Gingrich on September 11th. Dr. Hak Jahan is 82 years old leader of a worldwide movement for peace and freedom. Newt Gingrich. The South Korean government is threatening to physically take her out of the hospital where she is being treated for a heart condition. Just today, that same left-wing government has arrested 3 Baptist ministers. There is something profoundly dangerous about the anti-religious police state being developed by the new South Korean government. We should pray for Dr. Hak Jahan's health and for her freedom to continue working for peace and religious liberty. Let's give Newt a round of applause. Thank you. We like that kind of support, Aju. Woo! And then later, the day that she was summoned. Now, there's a lot of noise in the media about how Mother's avoiding. I mean, it's incredible. If you're wondering, I saw her, okay? Yes, she went to hospital. Yes, she had a heart procedure. And yes, we researched, according to the actual medical records, what kind of time frame she would actually need to recover before being put in any kind of stressful situation. Even like a first-class flight would be too much, let alone hours of interrogation from people who make it their job to really, really, really get you, okay? Until 1987, this was a country that still used electroshock torture therapy and waterboarding to get out of you what they wanted. It was still kind of a military state. I mean, this is only a few years ago. They were at war with one another, right? So they're still setting up their... Honestly, this is one of the things that fascinates me now, because I've never really looked at the political circumstances. Korea is a beautiful country, so advanced. But in terms of their governance, yeah, it's a rocky, they're still building stuff, if I might put it like very diplomatically, right, Tosh? So on the day of Mother showing up for the summons, okay, so if you watch the videos I posted, watching her, did you see the video I posted? Watching her come in. When she came in, there was 2 female reporters, and they have a clump of microphones, because the way it works is they don't allow everybody just to swarm you. There's 2 representatives, and they have like 10 microphones each, streaming wirelessly to a bunch of different cameras, different media outlets. So I don't know how they choose who gets to be that day, the 2 representatives, but 2 journalists will onboard everyone's questions, and they'll ask the questions. So that's what was going on. She was coming in, and they pounced on her, but it was nothing like coming out, if you watch the other video. They pounced on her, but she was able to just make her way through. Nobody was blocking her way, right? And these 2 sisters asked some tough questions, and what did she say? She said the first thing, she said, "Thank you, even though it's raining, thank you for your hard work. Please wait, later, I will share everything. Please wait. Thank you for doing your..." There's been no kind reporting. Mother watches the news every day. I don't know what it does for her health. I wish she wouldn't watch the news every day. But there's nobody out there in the news in Korea, by the way, saying, well, maybe maybe we should at least question. No, nothing favorable, really. So her to say that just instinctually, the very first thing she said, Dr. Hendricks, even though it's raining, thank you for your hard work. Please just give me a minute, So this is the heart with which I witnessed her enter the building. That, within 2 hours of that, Newt sent his next tweet. Shall I read it? This is Newt Gingrich's next tweet. Is the South Korean government trying to kill Mother Moon? The new left-wing South Korean government is attacking many religions, but they seem insanely intent on destroying Mother Moon. She is an 83-year-old world leader with supporters in over 150 countries. She works for peace and religious freedom. She has been in the hospital with a serious heart condition, and the persecutors, not prosecutors, of the left-wing government want to interrogate her at the risk of killing her. It is inhumane and should be stopped immediately. Let's give Newt. It's amazing. There was other tweets, I think you saw even the kind of support that was trying to come out of the White House. You see the support also. We got a tweet from Pompeo. These tweets are already up to over 1 million or 1.3 million views. And go in there, go onto X, follow Newt, and actually spend some time looking at the comments. Look in response to his tweet. How do you say X in tweet? I like Elon, but I don't know, he's got this fascination with X, and it's kind of hard. How do you say, did you X today? Hey, did you see that X? I X'd. What do you say? Does anybody know? Hey, kids. Huh? They still say tweet, right? Posted? Okay. And what does Trump say on truth? Truthed? Truthed? You got to verbify it. Huh? Truthed? He truthed and X'd. All right. So let me see. Do you want me to read anything, or do you want me to get on with it? Am I going too slow? Do you want more fire and brimstone? What do you want? More singing? More jokes? You want me to speed up? You want me to just get off stage? You want to eat lunch? Oh, if you want to eat lunch, go ahead. Actually, Is this Thunderbirds? Is this Thunderbirds? Okay, let's keep that ready, OG. Anyway, I'm not going to try to find his tweet-exed right now. But please read the comments to his tweets. I had to scroll for so long to find one generic negative comment, right? And then that guy that posted a generic negative comment got pounced on by someone else. I'm telling you, there's a lot of love on X for Mother right now. So bring it on! I mean, I'm holding back. Remember, I went to school in England, so I'm holding back. This is me being diplomatic. Otherwise, it just gets too... People told me I was too emotional, so... Yes. All right, so now I would like to give you a brief report on what's happening in Korea. Why on earth is Demian going to be reporting on some of the political, what would you call machinations, intrigues going on in Korea? Are you interested? Do you know why I'm going to tell you them? Because Mother asked me to tell the world what's happening in Korea. Let's do it! Actually, I don't know if this is actually going to happen, but one of the things Mother said when she sent me to Hannam-dog is, I want Demian to be recognized everywhere he goes in Korea. All the people should recognize his face. I don't know if I told you that yet, Mama. That's kind of scary. It's kind of exciting, and then it's scary as hell because, frankly, it's so unlikely. I just want to let you know, America, man, we are really loved. We are really loved. Our movement, True Parents in this country, is so embraced and loved. Sure, there's some haters out there, but there's haters everywhere for something. But in Korea, they don't get to breathe the kind of love and relationship that you all have built with folks here in America. Maybe it's something unique about America, but I'm telling you, it's different. And so there's a much more constricted feeling there in terms of, we got friends and lots of supporters, but it's nothing like, right, Tom? It's nothing like here. So it's hard to get the media to listen to our side of the story. In fact, we just sent a press release to 3 companies that we already told us they'd be willing to work with us. And I wrote a really loving Korean, statement. And then we sent it to them and said, no, can't work with a cult. So they're still dealing with that kind of stuff. They're afraid over there. Beloved sissies. I mean, I love them. Somebody told me today, don't say anything bad about Koreans. I have a Korean daughter-in-law, by the way, so I will never say anything bad about Koreans. But I'm now going to tell you what's actually going on in this beloved land that I love, Korea. It has been reported to me that the current government is working on eroding constitutional protections for citizens. That's a very broad statement, and it carries many subsets. One of the things they're doing is seeking to pack the court from 14 to 30. Judging by the way the prosecutor went through that leader's phone, I'm guessing they're not looking to pack the court with an even keel, balanced pack, right? From 14 to 16, that means they want to add 16 more voices of one side of the equation. They want to extend investigative powers. They want to extend term limits for special prosecutors. Sounds like it. They want to appoint people to the boards of media companies. Assuming, I mean, first of all, do we really want so much politics involved in our lives? And then if we did, let's have balanced politics, right? If possible. But just one side or in all that. So, constitutional electoral system. The presidential term in Korea is currently 5-year term. The current ruling party seeks to allow re-election. They want to change to a 2 4-year term, which if they pass, and they have the ability to pass because they have control of every house right now, the current leader will have been in power for about 10 years. seems convenient. Voting rights, you should know, foreign permanent residents, for example, Chinese nationals, multicultural families, may vote in local elections. Not national, but they can vote in local elections. Okay? But it seems, I've heard several reports that indicate that it's easier for people to enter from China than elsewhere. Okay? We love the Chinese. Okay, because America's, you know, one of the funny things that happened the other day is the Koreans were here on the tour with the true grandchildren, and the brother taking care of them, he had like a free afternoon, and he wanted to go get lunch. It's New York City. You can eat anything you want. So I was like, okay, hey, what do you want to eat? Oh, I want to eat American food. And I said, okay, so what do you want to eat? Oh, I just want to eat something American. Great. So what do you want? Chinese, Italian, Korean, Japanese, Mexican, right? What do you want? Portuguese, Algerian, Moroccan. We got it all, bro. You know, I just, and he's like, or just McDonald's. So we love all people. But just so you know, there's large groups of Chinese nationals coming in, and they're given visas very easily. So, okay. Election integrity. Ongoing fraud allegations remain uninvestigated. These are really serious. I mean, I just had lunch. Like 2 hours before getting on the plane to come here, I was having lunch with 2 council people, one a council chair and one council member from 2 different districts of Seoul. One was a Minju Party member, Democrat. One was a PPP, conservative. And they're friends. And they've been with us. They're like ambassadors for peace. They've been with us. It was fascinating to hear them tell me what was really going on, right? And they were in agreement about it all. Okay, so it's not like, and it was interesting to watch her letting me know certain things because she's of that party, telling me what's going on in that party. They don't believe the elections were just, actually. Okay, so there's at least allegations of election fraud. The thing is, there was no investigation. Wonder why? Okay. Government control and democratic concerns. There's power concentrated in the administration is currently seen as controlling the executive, legislative, and judiciary, but also the media. Authoritarian issues. President perceived as ruling unilaterally and dictatorially. The past president is facing serious charges with limited international concern. Now, I asked a lot of young people like the current president. And apparently it's because he looks like a much better manager. And the things that the young people are concerned about, the economy, but also they perceive the previous president as being really good on camera, but in terms of governance, not capable. And this guy is much more capable, okay? So I've really asked a lot of people like what they feel. And we've got people on all sides of the aisle. But most of us are not really educated, actually, about what's really going on. And it doesn't take much to, you know, start being persuaded to look a little deeper. Immigration and foreign influence, okay? Large-scale immigration of affluent Koreans. The rich Koreans who know what's going on are hightailing out of there. That's not a good sign. Visa-free access for Chinese leads to illegal overstays and growing enclaves. And there's a pro-China shift. The government policies are increasingly aligning with Beijing. This is something that's worrying the White House. Now, China is not investing in 28,000 troops in South Korea. We are. Now, things would tilt real quick out there if we brought our military support away, don't you think? Freedom of expression and protests. Check this out. Flag bias. I'm giving you a report, okay? So take notes. Flag bias. American flag desecration is being allowed. Chinese flag protests are being blocked. Protest limits. Peaceful rallies face suppression. Youth demonstrations. Ideological activism is rising on both sides. International relations. Foreign support. Claims of Chinese backing for current president. I mean, I've seen so much on this. Right now, Massimo Intravigne is in Korea. If you've read, you gotta follow bitterwinter.org. If I post an article, read it, follow it, take it, you know, study what's really going on, okay? Diplomatic alignment. Korean National Assembly Speaker joined meetings with Xi, Putin, and Kim Jong-un. And then there is desire for American support in addressing the political turmoil. The last thing that these two council members, one who is a Democrat, the last thing they said to me before I left, Justin, was, please help. Please. I don't know what they think I can do all of a sudden. But anyway, please, America, help Korea. They're desperate, actually, those who are really speaking about it. Something's going on. I mean, I almost can't believe it. I have to worry because sometimes I do like laying it on an extra level for dramatic effect, to get your attention. Yes, Barbara. But I'm really trying to be careful. It's like, wait, what? Am I just kind of like getting my... I mean, when that truth came out before the summit in the White House between Lee and Trump, Yumiko and I were in Korea at the time, and ding, I got this thing, and Trump's like, just one thing he said, Mike. He could have said anything else, or he could have said other things, but there was just one thing he said ahead of meeting with President Lee, and it was bringing up the issue of what the heck's going on in Korea today. Is it purge or revolution? What's going on, right? I woke up, Yumiko was like, Yumiko, I think we just initiated the downfall of, like, you know, like, what's going on? I honestly felt like I've been in a movie, and it's something we probably should be very careful about. But we need to also reveal the truth of what's going on. So I really want to know. I want to investigate what's really going on, and I want to share. Mother asked me to share, okay? Now, there's a huge love of America in Korea, okay? A huge love of America. Nobody can really doubt that they need America. They get that. But I've heard reports of, you know, politicians that visit CCP events. They come back compromised. I'll just say that. Any of you that studied what happened between the Soviet Union and America, certain roots of the Cultural War here in America, you know how things worked? You know how people get in trouble? You heard the stories, Susan? Huh? Yeah, they compromise you, they get evidence of compromising you, and then they have power over you, and then they send you back to work. Okay, these kinds of things I've heard are still going on. All right, real estate. This is something that Mother mentioned. Mother mentioned things like the environment. She mentioned things about housing. She mentioned things about this one town that's had years of water. It's kind of like Flint, Michigan, but different. You know, it was like a politically something not dealt with. And so it's a town that needs help, but the government's not helping. She's really worried about the people. You follow me? But this is one of those things about housing. Right now, there's fewer restrictions. There's few restrictions for first-time buyers, but if you're a second-time buyer, if you're moving, you can't buy a house. And in Korea, the government controls your interest rate on your loan. The government-directed Financial Supervisory Service chairman is appointed by the president. So everything is constricted with one ideology right now. Religious issues, persecutions, there's arrests of religious leaders, Sege Church pastor, our people, and cross-party sympathy. Even Democratic officials acknowledge now the injustice, with one stating, and this is the lady that I was eating lunch with, "Only God can help us now. I was so saddened to see True Mother's humiliation." Now, did I explain myself? Did anybody see that video? Did anybody read did I explain myself? Like, now, Kimi, one of the reasons that you were brought to Korea was because apparently there was going to be some rally. Should a mother be summoned, there was going to be a rally. But actually, we were advised, I think by either the special counsel or in combination with our lawyers, to not bring a ton of people because it might be sort of endangering. So we're so good. I mean, we've been so cooperative, actually. Not just the new leaders. I mean, even the previous leaders. Everybody's been cooperative, frankly. And maybe I've even heard from one of the lawyers, we've been too cooperative, actually. And so you saw the video of Mother coming in. Now, I was waiting with Dr. Jenkins, Stephen Jarris, Reverend Chang from KEA, Washington, D.C., who's been out there working with the PR team for months. We're standing there closest to the corner from out where mother would come. I didn't know she would be in a wheelchair on the way out, but it made sense. It's like a 9.5-hour session, okay? And she came out, and I was there standing for hours, Susan. So I was thinking, what should we say? I was like, Dr. Jing, what should we say? At one point, I realized I came up with a new song. You want to hear my new song? Holy Mother, Han, beautiful. That's as far as I got. In this song, like there's like 100 media, like all their cameras like firing at you. All these guys, they're standing there all day waiting for this moment. Like vultures. I don't know if that's how vultures sound. They sound. Right? Is that right? Is that good? Sound effects, free of charge. You know, I actually went up to a couple of them. I asked Reverend Jung, please tell them, listen, if you really want to get an answer to the question, just remember she's exhausted. If you approach her as Holy Mother Han, if you speak kindly, she may answer your question, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Anyway, what happens next is absolutely appalling. And by the way, we've been in this building all day. There's hundreds of police. I noticed they all stand in groups. Like, it's not like there's 2 here, 2 there, 2 here. They stand in groups, Mike, of like 50. And then beautiful, their uniforms are sharp. Nothing like the Italian police uniform, nothing. But they look sharp. They're really showing off these uniforms. I didn't see them doing any kind of work in terms of like surveillance or security. And wouldn't you think that the most high-profile person in the investigation, I mean, maybe they would consider the president and first lady to be more high-profile, but I'm telling you, Dr. Hak Jahan in South Korea, people are shocked. And the media knows this. So they're all there waiting for her to come out. And they've got 2 new reporters, not the 2 girls that were there in the morning. This time it's 2 guys, and they've got their clumps of mics each, and they're standing there like, you know, like, I don't know, Nutcracker Suite statues. And they're waiting for mother to come out. And my understanding, and there's stanchions all the way through to the door. And my understanding is that's there to protect mother, right? And everybody has to stand outside of those stanchions, okay? Mike, I don't want to tell you too much of this because I don't know, you've probably already spoken with Steve. If you have, you would be, like the first thing Stephen said was, Mike would be, because like it shouldn't have gotten, you know how it is, right, with security. It shouldn't get to the point where this is allowed to happen. Now, mother had her security detail. It must have been 4 or 5 or 6 of them. And there were also a few like youth pastors that showed up. But I was walking directly behind mother, and there was these 2, you know, reporters asking her questions along the way. And then as soon as she got to the door, there was no more stanchions outside. And believe it or not, even the car had not fully pulled up and opened up, and it was a little bit of a ways outside. You can see from the video, mother's coming out, everybody starts to crowd around, they start to ask questions. Now, I didn't put the questions in the video because they're such horrible questions. I couldn't put it in there. Like there's ways of asking questions. And even mother commented, are you asking questions on behalf of the government or on behalf of the people? Because they were just accusing her with the questions, attacking her. And it wasn't just these 2. For some reason, they broke protocol and pounced on her. It must have been like 75 or 100, like this. And I was right behind mother. And there was this one guy that ate far too much rice. Sorry for anybody that likes rice. This guy ate too much rice. And he must have been like, small guy, he's my height, but he's like 250 pounds or more, right? And he just like bustled right through. And I was like pulling him back on his belt with all my might, which isn't much because I've been losing weight. So I've been pulling him back to keep him off mother. Mike, I was livid. I was so afraid for mother because she's not even standing. Like, I think if she was standing, it would almost have been safer in some sense. But because she's down in a wheelchair and everybody's trying to get an eye in and trying to get their microphones in, like they forgot about the two only protocol. They were just swarming, fighting with the security to try and get their cameras in mother's face, to not ask a question, to fire bullets of words at her, actually. So scary. I was like, what the hell? We were so shocked, so shocked. We went to bed shocked, we woke up shocked. So that video you see me driving, and God bless you, there was a couple of you like, Damian, don't be emotional. Damn it. There's a time. God also has righteous fury. Something is wrong, it's wrong. Stop telling me it's normal. Don't worry, I'll continue to be pastoral, basically. I even got a text from my dad. I love you, Dad. He's like, Damian, remember, stay above the fray if you're leading. Otherwise, if you get down in it, that's all you're going to do is lead people in it. But it's like we want mother to stay up above the fray. And some of us have to be there, Mike, to protect her. Some of us have to be on the ground to protect mother. And you guys need to know what's going on. You want to know what's going on? Yes. That's why I came here to tell you. Somebody even said, why didn't you just send a video? All right, so political climate. Opposing views are being suppressed across parties. There's religious concern. This is a shared concern over religious freedom. The overall assessment right now of the situation in Korea is a national crisis. The country is described as being in an overall state of crisis, public anxiety. Citizens feel anxious with nowhere to turn for protection. The worst possible state. The current situation is characterized as the worst possible condition for the nation. And consider, it was already 6 months of destabilization. I mean, they were like on a roll of impeachments. Let's get rid of that guy. Let's get rid of that guy. I mean, there's only one president in the history of this country that didn't either go to jail or commit suicide after their term ended. Only one. Moon Jae-in. Only one. I mean, did you know that? Yeah, that's why you go there and say, oh, no, don't worry, it's normal. Normal doesn't necessarily mean it's okay. And normal doesn't necessarily mean right. We have to assume that they're still trying to get things right and develop things. I already heard as of 5 years ago that young people in Korea were sick and tired of the prosecution. Culture of prosecution. Every 5 years, they're going to prosecute the last one, go through a year of prosecution, keep telling each other how bad they are, right? And then, I don't know, they put people in jail for terms of 10 years and they let them out after a year. It's almost like the whole thing is a little bit of theater, in a way. But it's pretty darn painful theater. And to rope mother into this, unacceptable. Unacceptable, right? So, what's the current situation? Current situation is the so-called special prosecutor. Am I, Tyler, have I said anything dangerous up until this point? Not too much? Turn it up, turn it down? Am I okay, Taj? The cameras are rolling. I don't want, more is better? Well, Tal's from Israel. She's like fearless. The special prosecutor, so-called, has requested detainment warrants for both True Mother and Wonju. They have to appear on Monday with the lawyers. The mothers can't argue on their behalf. They have to appear with the lawyers, apparently, on Monday before a judge. And then they have to wait in a detainment room until the judgment is made. What is the judgment? The judgment is whether or not an arrest warrant will be given. Right? Now, even just to sit in this detainment now, I got a picture of it, Mike. Why would I not tell you what it looks like, right? It's a room. I think it's I don't know how many pyong, like 3 pyong something. It's just a floor bed. There's a TV. I don't know if that, probably just a TV monitor of like people getting hit for doing bad things or some looping video telling you what happens to bad people. I don't know. It feels like that. So there's no chair. There's a mattress, like a thin mattress on the floor, old style, a little table, and there it says for eating and inspection. I don't know what kind of inspection. And there's a CCTV camera in the room, a little toilet, and bars on the window. I can't, like, if you see the picture of this is currently where the former president is. Oh, that's another thing they did, by the way. They're treating the former president as a common criminal. Never have they done that before. They're so used to this theater of throwing the former guy in jail, but they always give him a nice room. Not this time. It's really hardcore, right? So that's the same type of room that these ladies will have to wait in. I just can't even fathom for 5 minutes. No. But actually, according to the law, you have to wait there until the judge determines whether or not to issue the warrant. This is circumstances that she's facing now. So what will you be praying for now? Is that the judge rules in favor of dismissing the request for detainment. Are you? By the way, that's why we're doing these petitions, signing petitions. Several VIPs writing and sending letters. So if you haven't signed the petition, we're going to want you to do that. I now want to share with you Mother's words. Would you like that? Yes. So it's with all of this backdrop that I want to share what Mother said. So, and when Mother's saying these words, she's at the same point, okay? So I'm not going to tell you exactly when this meeting happened, but it happened after all of this that I shared with you. She's aware of it, okay? So it's the most current. And these are my rough notes. This is not official, okay? So this is my rough notes of a translation. But more than just the words, I want you to try and capture the essence and heart. Now the scene is we're in Cheonjeonggung, in Mother's formal living room where she meets with leaders regularly. Her chair now faces this way down the length of the room, and then there's 4 settees, I think you would call them. Beautiful, gold kind of settees. 4, 2 on each side. You can sit 3 people per. So 12 people fit in the space. And on this particular day, it happened to be 12 people. I don't know if that was planned or significant, but we all kind of walked in and walked out feeling something very significant about that. There was 12 people, and there was 3 Americans. So Mother's here, and she sat me right here, Dr. Jenkins, Stephen Jarris, and then there was 3 Korean leaders here, 3 there, and 3 over here. So it was 9 men from Korea, including, 2 that are actually now American citizens, and us 3 Americans over here, okay? And Mother started by saying, "Did you see the news?" And actually the news had just come out that the prosecutor intends to request for an arrest warrant. So it's kind of like the worst news, and nobody answered the question. I actually didn't know the news because it takes a while to get the English translation, but on our team there's one person that sends me a report every morning, and then I just got it, and I looked at it, and I looked at Mother, and I realized what she was asking, because I knew she knew the news. And I mentioned, "Mother, it takes time for me to get the Korean news in English, but I do know about the news in America." And so I started to give Mother a report. I gave Mother a report for about 10 minutes. And then she asked Dr. Jenkins to give a report. He gave a report about 10 minutes. And actually what was interesting about 2 of our reports was it was full of action. And it was full of what America has been doing. And it was full of the spirit of America. And by the end of the meeting, we realized the only conversation that we had was between Mother and America. There's 12 people in the room. And we kind of walked away wondering, was that the purpose of the meeting, so that everybody could get a little dose of America? I mean, come on. Even for you guys watching, if the leaders from Korea are watching, come, let America have a little bit of, it's like America. We're like kid. We're like the elder son. We're the elder son, but we're still a son. We're still a kid. And we wanted to feel, that kind of spirit coming into the room. We really felt it, because they need our encouragement. They need our support. They need your encouragement and support. They need our strength. They need our freedom. They need our confidence. And the reports were really encouraging to Mother, actually, even though the situation is so miserable. But there was hope. And in one of the things I mentioned to True Mother, she really loved listening to Newt's tweet, for example. I read it to her because it was from right around then. And she was closing her eyes, So I said, Mother, I had an idea. So right now, if you've got your phone, Google now, Cambodian monks holding pictures of President Trump. Google it. Come on, girls. You got to have a phone over there. You have a phone? Now check your phone. Google it. Or look at your friend's phone. Cambodian monks actually petitioning for Trump to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, because he stopped the war between Thailand and Cambodia. They want to nominate him for the global, what is it? Not the Sunak Peace Prize. Nobel Peace Prize. Nobel Peace Prize. And you see that picture, though. There's all these monks in their orange garb, and they're holding up pictures of Donald Trump. So he saw that picture, and you know his character. I think you can see his character. He doesn't hide the fact that, he loves receiving accolade. So he was so into that picture. Anyway, I was thinking about that when I heard that Trump, our president, whether you voted for him or whether you didn't, he's our president. And by the way, I'm going to remind you that before the election, I said this. I said exactly what Mother said. Whoever the president is, it doesn't matter which side from they come. What matters is, will they attend heaven? Because if they don't attend heaven, then there's no way, there's no blessing, there's no way forward for the country. Do you think, some cool policy is going to help the country? It might change the economy for a couple of years, but are we going to get into the kingdom of heaven with policy, with political policy? We need leaders that can attend heaven, right? And it really doesn't matter what color hat they wear. What matters more is whether they can capture the sense of where God wants to take them. So that's why whomever is our president, we need to pray for them, and we need to hope that they can do a good job. Right now, we're not in an election season. So if I talk about our president, it's not a political thing. It's our national representative. It's the representative of this free democracy. And he's got a pretty tough job to do. So let's pray for him. And what I said to Mother is, Mother, President Trump, along with Xi and others, are coming to Korea in October for APEC. So I said, Mother, what if we gathered hundreds or thousands of young people to welcome Trump with pictures of Trump and pictures of Mother and American flags? By the way, there's lots of Koreans waving American flags in Korea because they're calling on you, asking for your help. So what if we show up with our own Americans and Koreans and Japanese working together with American flags and pictures of Trump and pictures of Holy Mother Han out there applauding the president when he arrives? What do you think about that, America? Shh, don't tell anyone unless some of the others get the idea and do the same for Xi Jinping. Anyway, I just said this idea. Okay, then Mother started to speak. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when I read these words. It's kind of a lot of words. You guys must be exhausted already. Look, if you have food in your picnic baskets, eat. If you need to pee, pee. All right? If you just know that I want to share this with you. And I want you to capture the essence of it. the truth is, like, the opening sentence, did you hear the news? And, everybody in the room now knows what the news is. It's like there's a situation where mother might be detained. That's what the news is saying, right? So you're sitting in that atmosphere, and I'm looking at mother. She's right here, Barbara. She's right, well, not down there, but she's right here, right? She's right here. And she leans over on the left side of her chair, and she starts speaking. And she's speaking with this soft voice. Like, honestly, like, it's like the bombs are literally going on around. I don't know, I shouldn't go too far. Too much sound effect. But anyway, it's like she's surrounded by bad news every day, every day, every day. And she's sitting there, and she's glowing. I mean, she's just had a heart procedure. She's just been interrogated. She's like, like people keep failing her. And she's sitting there, she's glowing. And now she's speaking to me, to all, she's speaking to us all, right? But for me, she's speaking to me. And I just felt the need to say to anybody watching from Korea, I really don't know everything that's going on. I'm just studying. So if there's things you think I should know, please let me know. Mother told me some things. I heard some things from some politicians. But I need to know. I'm not trying to make up stories. But it's interesting that Mother wanted me to address these things. Not for members, for the world. So I don't know how we do that, but that's what she's asking us to do. And from the beginning, I'll remind you, when all this kind of took place, I was there the day after the raid, the big raid. I remember the first thing Mother said is, don't worry about me. I'm going to be fine. And she even said, don't worry, the future of Family Federation is bright. Yes. But she worries about Korea. They're being tested. The first time in human history, God's home was erected in their land. And they're being tested, really seriously tested. And so she worries about those people. So she's sitting there in this chair right now, and she's looking over, and her eyesight's not all there, right? So she's kind of gazing, and she's glowing. Mother's glowing. And she's speaking with a soft voice that I've heard before, but there was something different in the way she was speaking. And the word that comes to mind to describe to you is she wasn't teaching, she wasn't educating, she wasn't reporting, she wasn't talking. It was something new, something I never heard before. Reminiscing. And there's something about the tone of reminiscing that makes you feel like it's the last time you're going to hear this story. So, as I'm listening to her word, typing away on my notes, that's the heart with which she's speaking. She's speaking a little bit softer than usual, a little bit slower than usual, and more like a reminiscing. So if I was to try and mimic, it would be like, well, like really, like, yeah. Unafraid. You don't say like resigned. It wouldn't be like resigned to whatever fate may come. Somebody might perceive it that way. Oh, she's just resigned to whatever fate may come. But no, she was like, the way I was taking it was completely confident, but also there was a melancholy there and a reminiscing kind of tone. And she said this, even though I may be in a difficult situation, I believe the time has come for great providential work. Until now, we met many righteous people and explained how a world of peace should be realized. Only when we attend Heavenly Parent can a world of peace truly come. And after True Father's ascension, I opened Foundation Day to open Chonilguk, which has been a course of 13 years until now. Through many different speaking tours, I was able to set the condition of restoring 7 religious realms and 7 continents as a condition to settle Chonilguk. True Parents' responsibility is to realize God's dream while they are here on earth. That's why now I'm getting older. But before it is too late, it is essential that I at least created an environment beginning with a house. Next she says a temple, but as soon as she got to the word house, I felt, how much have you heard about world peace, world restoration, restoring the nation, right? At least restoring the city, model village. But here is Mother facing full-on attack in the middle of her country, in the middle of her people, chosen to support and unite with her, bearing down on her. And she's boiling it all down to admit. You know, it's like none of us would ever wish to report to Mother anything less than, cosmic restoration. We'll do it in 3 years. Don't worry, Mother. National restoration, right, Tom? Where's that alarm coming from? Is it one of the... So when Mother got to this point of saying, like, at least I needed to build a house, my heart just went poof, because it's like, are you able to resonate with what I'm trying to convey? Mama, is it making sense? Tell me if I go too long, honey. It's only been 2 hours. Actually, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. My God. Thank you, Tom. Yeah. So a house, she said, a house for God, our Heavenly Parent. That is the temple. That is the start. So what I've clearly felt Mother saying is, if this is as far as I can go. It's like that. That is the start. In order to do that, I worked so hard. I made many efforts. And so, from the Christian realm, I decided to liberate Africa first. I went first to Senegal, which is a Muslim country. Back then, the Korean leaders advised me not to go. But I went nonetheless. I met the leaders of that country, and they welcomed me, and they said they would become my sons. Within Christian history, Africa went through the most painful history. Christians who were supposed to bring the love of Jesus seized the youth of Africa and used them as slaves. Like Goree Island, when I went there, my heart ached. So I liberated them. Never should such things occur again. Thank you, Mother. A America is a representative country, and particularly through the foundation of the Christian clergy, ACLC, when I first announced my status as the only begotten daughter, they received me. They welcomed me. However, when I came back to Korea and I proclaimed myself as the only begotten daughter, when I declared to the first generation leaders and members, they were not able to understand me. Until now, among those who knew True Father when he was called teacher, those who were educated during that time struggled to understand why the only begotten daughter is necessary. True Father, Mother really wishes you can help this point, Father. I was born in 1943. The American Presbyterian Church entered Korea, centering in Pyongyang. In the early part of the century, Pyongyang was going through a spiritual revival. American missionaries came. Presbyterian missionaries were spreading a revival across the country. The missionaries who came from America saw how difficult and dire the situation was in Korea. They had to risk their lives to conduct their missionary activities. But they decided to remain in Korea regardless of the situation. I'm not sure, but I think they could really feel that Korea was a special country. And then Dr. Jenkins and I immediately said, yes, Mother, they did. And that's their testimony. So I knew who I was after I was born. I knew who I was after I was born. I knew that I was God's daughter. There were many people who met me and gave testimonies about this as well. But the country had gone through Japanese colonization. And then at the conclusion of World War II, then Korea became divided between North and South. Kim Il-sung ended up working with the Soviet Union and was preparing to invade the South. But during that time, in the South, they had several intelligent, independent activists, but they were late. They were not able to form a proper army in time. That's when the Korean War broke out. The communists came all the way to Nakdong River. That's just north of Busan. South Korea was now in a very urgent situation. They began recruiting and mobilizing all young men and had to dispatch them to the Nakdong River. They were only trained for a week before going to fight. These young teenage schoolboys who had never held a gun had to be trained how to shoot and only had 1 week to prepare for battle at the Nakdong River. That's why they say the Nakdong River is tainted with blood. It was these young people who had fought, but among them I heard that some of them are still alive today. And they say, you know, I'm listening to Mother talk about this, and she's just going really deep. She's like reminiscing. She's going really deep into this history and really personal. It was these young people who had fought, but among them I heard that some were still alive today. And they say that naturally they find themselves wearing their army uniforms on the anniversary of the day the Korean War broke out. They still have their uniforms, and they keep them clean, washing them, preserving them until now. And on that day, every year, they would wear their uniform they still think of it. They still think back and relive those days, thinking of their comrades. They still have this kind of life until now. Think of it. How could the 16 UN member nations come and shed their blood to protect this small country and help to protect the formation of democracy in Korea? It was because of God's protection. However, the Korean government seems to be forgetting the gratitude they should have for those young men who sacrificed their lives. Mama, do you have my power bank? Thank you. So, is this the voice of a criminal? I mean, so deep to be, I mean, she's thinking in terms of millennia and centuries and decades. These vultures are preying on political power traps by, like rats, like looking for little crumbs they can find to accuse people. Mother's thinking in such grand scopes, so far above this world that men have created. And her heart goes to those people. Her heart goes to the Korean teenage boys who must have been fumbling around to even carry a rifle. And surely 9 out of 10 must have just gone into the river and got shot within seconds. Young boys. And then young boys coming from faraway lands. For what? To protect democracy, to protect freedom. And so mother's connecting that to think that, oh, now, regardless of who they may be, regardless of what party they may be affiliated with, but how could people be so heartless as if to forget the blood that runs through those rivers, that fed the roots of those trees? How could the Korean government seem to forget the gratitude they should have for these young men who sacrificed their lives? This was a period of protection. Why? The key point is that according to the principles of creation, the only begotten daughter had to be protected until she could reach maturity. That is why heaven protected Korea at that time. But the problem now is that in 1960, when it came to true parents' emergence, which was what Heavenly Parent had waited for so long, God had waited for 6,000 long years, enduring patiently. And when we think of that, as a person who knew well the pain that God had to endure for 6,000 years, I had to make a resolution. To be frank, it was really difficult. Now, the way she said this, I wish I guess you can see how Mother talks just by watching videos of her talking in Korean. It's really kind of pathetic that it should come upon someone like me to try and mimic, an 82-year-old, daughter of God. But please try to hear my spirit when I say that the way she even said this, to be frank, it was really difficult. Like she's letting us in on her own personal heart, It was difficult. I was only 16 years old. My husband was almost 40. And from the secular point of view, he also had a lot of issues. The completion of God's providence is through the only begotten daughter. The only begotten daughter, true mother, must realize the completion of God's providence. So because of that, I made my determination and resolution. And so I came forward and I said, I will do so. That is how true parents came to emerge. And through me, families could be born. And wherever you go across the world, you can find second and third generations growing well. I know their faith. So please know, young people, okay? Like, whatever it is you feel in your heart, your youth, your journey, your future, just know this. I promise you, I can testify to you, I've seen the glow on Mother's face when she says such a thing. When she can hear and feel and know that you are alive and well and doing your best. So please know who you are. Second and third generations. You hear me? Yes. Please know who you are. Mother loves you so much and is so comforted by your very existence. All right, let's give a big round for pure water. In a situation where the Soviet Union was communizing people and many people in Europe were tense, and the young people who heard the divine principle back then under those circumstances, those countries that were already communized in Europe, those young people who heard the principle and then went underground, and some even went to jail, and even one person died in prison. Some were later released. But we have such members who suffered such things. You probably know about this, don't you? She said. You probably know about the butterfly missions, don't you? She said, I believe that some of them are still in good health and that their children are also growing well. What I'm trying to tell you here, what I'm trying to tell you beyond what you hear in Mother's words, what I'm trying to convey to you is what I was experiencing as mothers just come out of this horrible day-long interrogation and then hounded by the media, treated like a commoner, less than, not even shown the respect of a normal citizen. And then she's got us up there in her beautiful room, which, by the way, the centerpiece is a Turkish rug made up of 10 million knots. 10 million knots. It's blue with green and all kind of colors in there. This was America's gift to Mother, and it's right there in the middle of her main room. Yeah, so it's really beautiful. So, yeah. She's talking about the butterfly missions. And just like when she was talking about the second and third generations around the world, she's comforted to know that they're going well. But then she's also thinking, she believes still there's still a couple of those butterfly missionaries alive and their children are growing well. I mean, just can you all give yourselves a hug? Can you give yourselves a hug? Yeah. Like, God really loves you. True parents really love you. And sure, I know we've all said and done and thought stupid things, and it makes us think we're not, the devil wants us to think we're not worthy of some crap like that. That's not true. Yes, you're worthy and you're loved. You're loved and you're worthy, and it's your existence that brings comfort to God. It's your existence that brings comfort to God. And yes, please pray well and make good efforts. But already the fact that you're alive and that you're here brings such incredible comfort to God. I can see it because I see it on the face of our beloved true mother. So be alive and be full of hope and of good courage, and know that you have the power of God within you to change the world. Absolutely. Now I got a drink. Filtered water. I'm the filtered water generation. All right, where was I? My God. This is the longest I've ever gone. Actually, no, the workshops are longer. All right, so Mother's reflecting on these missionaries. And then she said, when America faced the threat of being communized, and considering that America was blessed by God and living well, at that time they were developing a culture of individualism. Drug problems arose. A family breakdown became a problem. And the hippies, she has this cute way of saying hippies, the hippies, she's saying the hippies, the hippies who had kind of given up on life. I mean, I think any hippies in the crowd, you probably would say that you were searching. But you can see that there was a whole generation that kind of gave up on status quo, right? Gave up. So Mother caught this. They had given up on life, right? And she said, so while they were wandering around without direction, it was really essential that the Christian foundation be revived. Otherwise, God's providence would be lengthened. That time period was already roughly 10 years after the Korean War. Let's just think about it, 10 years after the Korean War. Korea back then was still really devastated. The war created poverty and suffering. So one of our first church activities was the New Village Movement. We went to teach the villagers how to read. And this developed into an official movement called the New Village Movement. So we did not ask them to believe in the Unification Church. We just served. But people across Korea really appreciated it and accepted the help that was given to them back then. That became the opportunity to really expand our foundation. But we gave that project to the government, to the president of Korea, and then we moved to America. The reason we moved to America was for the sake of the world. We went to all 50 states. We gathered righteous people and conveyed the word. And through that, we sought to revive the Christian realm again. And through these efforts, American political leaders somehow felt threatened by our activities and pursued a ban to block Father from coming to America. However, even though we were in such an environment, True Father returned knowing that he could go to prison. He returned nonetheless. So why is Mother talking like this? So when we stayed in America, we conducted different rallies. And back then there was a Dr. Kaplan. And Father told him to declare that communism would collapse. But at that time, communism was at its peak. So since he was a well-renowned scholar, he couldn't bring himself to declare this, no matter how much he tried to think about it. But because he respected Father, he came to visit Father personally in Danbury to ask if he could soften the statement a little bit, just to say maybe communism might collapse. Say maybe might. But Father said, no. Father said, no. Go and state what I said. It will collapse. Can we give it up for Father? I mean, what a guy. I mean, geez. Unparalleled. So when I was in Switzerland and right across, I was some speaking event in Switzerland, and right across the place I spoke was the Soviet embassy. It was a dangerous situation, but Dr. Kaplan was there and he bravely spoke of the collapse of the Soviet Union on that day. You all probably know that story really well, right? She said. Also, in order to prove Father's innocence, the Christian realm worked together. Back then, in those days, from the Mormon church, there was a senator. And she was remembering his name, Orrin Hatch. Yes, Orrin Hatch. Sega Times president. She turned over to the president of Sega Times who was in the room. Sega Times president, do not forget the name of Orrin Hatch. So she gave that little instruction, and then he was really a righteous person. When I spoke at the Kennedy Caucus Room on Capitol Hill, he was really supportive. And he really took good care of me because he had a very pure mind. He was always ready to support me. I felt that it was because he really liked me. Isn't that so? Did he really like me? Like, she was, it's right, isn't it? He liked me, right? And Dr. Jenks says, yes, mother, he loved you. And then even before he retired, he told the president of America at that time that the American government should apologize to Father because he was innocent. The American government should apologize to Father because he was innocent. That is how righteous a person he was. So even after he retired, I asked you to take good care of him, right? Right? And then Dr. Jenkins said, yes, mother, you sent us to Utah to take care of him. The day that the prosecutors called me was a very difficult day. So what do we know about Mother? She does not live an ordinary life. True Mother sees herself as someone who lives not in the ordinary world, but in the area of like Holy of Holies type of world, okay? A sacred domain of heaven. She has consistently declared, I am not a normal person, meaning her life is wholly dedicated to fulfilling God's providence. Her words, her decisions, and her actions are guided by divine mission, not personal interest. She's born in a providential moment. She was born in 1943 during the final years of World War II, a time carefully prepared by heaven. Her birth marks the emergence of the only begotten daughter, the long-awaited counterpart to the only begotten son. She believes her birth fulfilled what God had been preparing for 6,000 years, a daughter through whom God could finally establish his lineage on the earth. She testifies to the failure, the missing aspect of Christianity. She explains that Christianity failed to fully understand the essence of Jesus and that mistakes have been made in the past 2,000 years. She asserts that world Christianity was meant to unite with her, not oppose her. She has particularly pointed out that Korean Christianity has a little bit of a challenge in this department and must awaken to its role and to its present providence. Are you? Come on, Christians of Korea. Come on, righteous Christians. We love you. Wow, my voice really echoes. I feel like I'm speaking to my people. All right. 4, she teaches us about Jesus' loneliness. True Mother often reflects on Jesus' path to the cross, not just as a victory, but as a tragedy, because those around him did not know his true essence. It was the only pathway afforded him. She emphasizes what was missing from Mary's understanding, leaving Jesus isolated. She recalls how even at the cross, it was only a thief that stood by him, while the people he loved turned their backs. She explains that Jesus' word to that thief, today you will be with me in paradise, contained deep spiritual meaning. And she often asks, do you know the meaning of those words? Do you understand the meaning of paradise? What it is and what it is not? There's more, right? Number 5, Mother reveals the purpose behind history. According to Mother, all biblical and human history has been the preparation for this point, for the only begotten daughter to appear. The 4,000-year Old Testament course and the 2,000 years of Christianity were not complete until her birth and maturity from 1943. She says that even after events like the Holocaust, as terrible as it was, humanity still could not recognize the truth of the providence. 6, Korea as a chosen nation. She believes that because other nations could not fulfill their responsibility, God had to choose Korea as the birthplace of his daughter and as the central nation to fulfill the providence. Korea, therefore, she teaches, must recognize its divine responsibility and not waste the opportunity that heaven has granted to it. I love Korea. The first time I was in Korea, it was a layover on a plane on the Gimpo. Remember Gimpo Airport? Gimpo Airport. We're on our way to Japan, and we had to sleep over in the airport, and some kind gentleman came along and said, they're going to kick you out. You're not allowed to. Let me help you. He was a Christian man, probably in his 40s, and he walked us all the way, like several blocks from the airport, to find an affordable hotel. And he didn't just like point to it. I mean, that's all he needed to do is say, guys, they're going to kick you out. I mean, that would have been kind enough. But he walked us to the hotel. And then he helped translate the entire encounter to make sure we got the room that we needed. Okay? And I was like, wow, this is like, no, that never happened to me before in America. And actually, if that happened to in America, you'd be, you know, something's wrong here. Right? And I had to watch myself getting rid of those thoughts. Honestly, I felt like, wow, I'm looking at a true Christian here. Now, this is a real Christian, you know? And he not only brought us to the hotel and translated the whole affair, he then walked us to our room. Now, if this is happening in America, you'd really be starting to freak out. But he was so wholesome. And then not only did he walk us to our door and say good luck, he actually opened it and he came in, took off, showed us how to take off our shoes. And it was like one of those old Ondol style. We got to pull out. He's like made our beds for us. This absolute stranger made our beds for us. I don't know. I seem to remember that he even paid for the room. If I remember, I wouldn't be surprised if Uncle Kevin got him to pay. Anyway, yeah. So I have these kinds of experiences all the time. I especially love the older folks in Korea. I have to say, can I go off on a slight detour? Sorry, you hungry? Keep him in check. Okay, go give him his snacks. Take another Tic Tac, courtesy of William Archibald. Let's give it up for William Archibald. All right. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I prefer how they used to drive in Korea. They used to drive badly, like crazy. But there was a certain heart with it. You know, Korea used to be free. They used to drive how they wanted to. It was kind of dangerous. And now it's so intense in Korea. Like, I get so uptight when I'm driving, right? Because like every 100 yards, there's police lights flashing. You know, there's cameras. Every kilometer, there's another camera. And then your car computer is speaking at you. Ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. 80 kilometers. Speed camera, check. Ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. And actually, I've got two. Because if you've got your phone in the car, the computer of the car and your phone is speaking to you through the sound system in two slightly different accents. Ba-ding, 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 80 speed limit, 80 kilometers, 80 speed limit, kilometer an hour, ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. Like 100 miles, 100 kilometers, box camera, rear view camera, you know, satellite camera, underground temperature check camera, It's like, and the screen is flashing red. You're driving like, I just wish it would say, hey, Demian, it's going to be okay. You can have a great day. Just drive safe. If you get tired, stop for a coffee. If you want me to tell you where it is, I can guide you there. That would make me drive more peacefully. But I find my foot on the accelerator, I'm stressing out because they're constantly telling me how to drive. But it's not just the cameras and the computers. The Korean drivers today, my God. If you waver off of one line, they honk at you. I'm like, what? Do you really, come on, Korean, come on, I love you guys, but like you really follow all the rules, like the way you're pretending to follow all the rules? It seems like so. They are the most safe, I won't say courteous drivers, but they're the most safe drivers. I much prefer it when we were there in Cheonan in 2005. They drive like crazy back then. And there was something about the spirit back then. I love the old people in Korea because they remember the old Korea. You know what I'm saying? They remember the old Korea. And you sit down at the table and they feed you and you feed them and you share. And I've had so many of these wonderful experiences. The young people today in Korea are really stressed about the economy, by the way. Really stressed. It's not good. There's very little upward mobility. It's hard. It's not like here. So we've really got to hold out for them and see how we can help them. They need your help, okay? So I'm on this list about Mother. All right. She's traveled the world. Why? True Mother explains that she and True Father spent 40 years plus in America, not for comfort, but to lay a global foundation to save the world, My God. She recalls hundreds of trips to Japan, or over 100 trips to Japan. Despite the pain of the history between nations, that was not the issue. It's necessary to go to Japan and love the Japanese. And she did it over 100 times. You know that's how many times she went to Japan? You know, Father couldn't go that many times, unfortunately. She emphasizes the importance of the blessing movement. And she says leaders like President Bush and others participated in that providence also. She recollects, I mean, it's like this woman that has done and sacrificed all these things, done all these things. Oh, what? She's going to be there? You know what? There's a white, somebody's laying it out on the white. Okay, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to meet this guy and we're going to give this guy a bag. And then that guy's going to give this guy a bag. And then that guy's going to go give that guy a bag. And they're going to put it, leave it in a little, like, you know, leave it in a train station. And they're going to pick it up and pass it to that. I mean, it's like ridiculous. Actually, even the entire amount that the church is being accused of, you know, peddling or meddling is like really quite insignificant on the grand scheme of things. All that should have happened is Mr. Yoon should have been fined and maybe up to a year. But instead, they're dismantling. I'm telling you, they're coming after Mother, and after that, they're going to go after everyone else and try to dismantle the whole church in Korea. I bet you. Oh, can't happen. It's not legal. That wasn't legal in Japan. Did you know? There was no legal pathway to dissolve the church in Japan. So guess what they did? They made a new pathway. Oh, that's not religious persecution. That's the law. That's the justice system. A justice system that is weaponized for political motive is not a system of justice, is it? All right, guys, come on, America. We need you. Let's keep going. Her heart of generosity. Mother has always given things, everything away, even her wedding ring. You know? She's given everything away. Why would she meddle with these accusations? This is ridiculous, right? Ultimately, Mother's mission is not for herself. She says clearly, at this age, I have given everything. What else would I want? What else do I need? My life has not been driven by ambition, but mission. Not ambition, mission. Specifically to liberate humanity and to fulfill God's dream. And everything, I mean, I'm telling you, Mother is describing all of this. You know, when she's sitting here on the chair and talking all these words, I mean, I'm just kind of recapping on things Mother has been saying, right? But the love with which she speaks even about the people who are persecuting her. She worries about them. She is a mother. Literally everything coming from her aura is all mother love stuff. Okay? It's remarkable. Mother loves stuff. And by the way, in all these meetings, there's little chocolates, little snacks, little coffee. She goes for a rest and comes back and refills your cup. So what's her legacy? True Mother wants to harvest the full meaning of God's providence before she passes into the spirit world. She hopes that the youth and the blessed families will stand proudly as representatives of heaven and bring joy to Heavenly Parent. Now, by the way, if you want to bring joy to Heavenly Parent, your joy's got to be a part of that recipe. You're not going to be able to bring joy by suffering your way into heaven. Those years are over. They were supposed to be over decades ago. So let's get with the program. Let's really attend Heavenly Parent with joy. Mother's vision is not that just of a church, but of a world transformed by love where God is attended as the parent of all people. Adieu! So anyway, Mother at the end wrapped it up. And she said, Demian, you spoke really well. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that. That's kind of a big deal. So let me just take some, let's give, wow, Demian. She said, Demian, you know, and I'm becoming like my president. Demian, you spoke really well. And then what was it she really liked? She liked the idea about welcoming Trump. So she turned to the World Mission. She said, World Mission Headquarters Director General and Mr. Do from HR, are you here? Yes. Okay, so together with the Korean HQ, mobilize all young people. And remember, when I met Hun Sen of Cambodia, we took a picture together and he proudly spoke of it. So it would be good if our young people can welcome the President of the United States of America, Trump, and a big picture of Mother and as well, and say, we support America. Please do so. Mother is calling on us to mobilize to welcome the United States president in Korea when he travels there. So how should we have? Tens of people? Or hundreds of people? Or thousands of people? Millions? That's the big announcement, by the way. Mother said, I heard the Middle East is considering to come or not. They don't know. So, please reveal Trump's face more. It's very interesting. Please reveal Trump's face more. Make sure that we promote Trump in a loving way, but also make sure True Mother's face comes out beautifully. So please educate the people. Make all necessary preparations and let's educate this country. And please write down in English, religious freedom. In English, write religious freedom on the sign. Say religious freedom. And in Korea, when you protest, you need permission, right? So please find out in advance and make sure that there are all no hindrances in going forward. It seems that Trump was very well treated in England. Isn't that so? Mother talked about. So you can tell. Yes, Mother. I heard that maybe Europe is concerned about Russia and all these things. So we're explaining, what's going on about King Charles's health, about the circumstance going on in Europe, the situation with Russia. God bless them all, pray for them all. But, Mother brought it up. And we also brought up about Charlie Kirk. Now, today is the memorial for Charlie Kirk. So I just respect anybody that can really study all sides of something and stand up for what they believe and be there to help others if they want to learn from what they believe. And I don't want to get political with it, but I really didn't see him as that political, although he really did support, Trump for the election. But what an incredible young man. And we need more young men and women in America who what? Can actually feel confident to love God and speak it. How about that? Huh? And actually on the world stage, America is that country. America is that country. If America stops doing this, if we silence those voices, that's it. You're not going to get it from Europe. Okay? Sorry, as much as Europe is awesome. Okay, so we mentioned about Charlie Kirk, and we mentioned about what happened, and Mother said, now is the time to witness. Now is the time to what? Witness. Now is the time to witness. This is one boy, what he did in 10 years. And now, Kimmy, talk about setting up CARP on campus. It's like, we might spend 10 years deciding on what the acronym stands for if we want to rebrand, right? And we work hard on all of our stuff. But he just went out there, picked up the mic, and started talking. What, you mean like that? Like real? Yeah, right? So interesting. So I think we should learn something from that. I think we lost a national able figure. And it's a sign of, I think, what Mother said at the beginning, at the top of this message, which is a great providential works are readying to happen. A great providential work is readying to happen. Clearly, we can see evil rising up in the world every corner. But, God's going to come through and clutch this. I believe this. At this point, Mother left the room for a restroom break, and like 20 young, well, probably it's more like 12, because there's only 12 of us, but 12 sisters came in. The uniforms they wear are so sweet. It's like a pink, it's kind of like, almost like this, but light pink with pants. And they came in and served everyone, like new tea. We had coffee and snacks, and now it's a coffee and chocolate. Now it was a tea, I can't say which, I don't know, but tea and little like buns, like bean buns. And she came back and she said, okay, please enjoy the tea and please enjoy, she's feeding us. So, truthfully, True Mother was really disappointed about how she was treated by the media. And she mentioned that it seems like that they're working for the government, not the people. Leadership was explaining to Mother that it's the extremists on the left that are pushing all of this within the party on the left. And then she said, that's why I'm telling you, you have to educate them. That's what I'm trying to say. This is not a country that is acting like a democracy anymore. So True Mother wants them to apologize so that they don't pay more indemnity. True Mother indicated that one of the reasons True Mother was determined to actually go in to meet them, because there was this whole thing about, can we get them to come to the hospital? One of the reasons she determined to go and meet the special prosecutor, so-called special prosecutor, was so that she could bear some of the burden herself to pay indemnity for the nation. This is where Mother's mind is at. So Korea, please prepare well and work together well. Basically, Mother's starting to think about Trump again. This whole meeting turned into, okay, America's got ideas, let's go with it. So Mother's not saying it's not a good idea. That SpongeBob meme doesn't apply to Mother. God bless you, Mother. Please meet now and discuss how to welcome President Trump so that Trump can really support religious freedom. Europe is also in a difficult position. That is why they are trying to collaborate with him, because of the threats they are facing. But when I think about it, now this is sweet. When I think about it, Trump, he, in his own way, because he's in a position where he has to protect the American citizens, it may not be easy for him to send resources. It may not be simple for him to send troops across the other side of the world, because he's in a position where he needs to protect his own people. Therefore, because of that, it is essential that America becomes one with its allies. It will be very great if President Trump can take strong actions in unity with our allies for the sake of peace around the world. In North Korea, I heard, did you hear how many soldiers they are sending to Russia? Dr. Jenkins said 14,000, I think, Mother, we heard so far. So, for this country to realize peace for the sake of the world, it is essential that this country stands with the American president to fulfill that responsibility. We must consider more than just our economy. Trump must consider more than just the economy. This country has experienced losing its sovereignty before. For example, what is the use of an economy if we lose the people? So my position in Korea is that we must love God, love country, and love people. So, APEC, when is it? Mother, it's October 31st to I think November 1st. Huh? Starts October 27? So it's the end of October, right? It may be, and then she turned to me, and this really kind of like got me. She turned to me and she said, oh, it may be difficult for you to stay here until October, right? So what do you think she's saying? What do you think she's saying? So listen carefully. We're getting to the end. I said, Mother, our leaders and our members in America are working very hard. I actually wanted to comfort her that you guys are alive and thriving, okay? So I hope you are, because I told her you are. I said, our leaders in America and our members in America are really working very hard. I'm also meeting them every week with 600 to 1,000 leaders every week. Now, at this point, pay attention. At this point, Mother misheard me, Joe. She looked, her face lit up. Her face lit up like a little girl in a Barbie doll, or not a Barbie doll, but like a doll candy store. I don't know if that makes little girls light up. But her face lit up like a little girl. And she said, you're bringing them to Korea? Yeah, remember, the bombs are going off. She's given this whole 1 hour, longest I've ever heard her give this deep, soft, reminiscent type, I was sitting there the whole time. She's talking about parallels between Korea and America, between, father in prison, mother with all this, all these parallels going on. I'm wondering, what's it going to be? Really? Mother's going to be detained? Is there some kind of situation that we might experience in the future where we can't even go and see Mother? Or that her health is compromised? That the golden era is shortened? Is this what we've arrived at? Is this what we've allowed to happen, And she's sitting there just like sharing this like honey, just lovingly, you know. And it gets to the point where I'm just trying to tell her some practical things. The reason I'm telling her about meeting every week, Reverend Reynolds, I didn't want her to worry that I'm like completely out of the loop. I mean, I know you guys are doing all the work right now, but I'm not completely out of the loop. Like I'm touching base every week and occasionally one-on-one. But I was just trying to tell her I'm having Zoom calls. But she heard me say, Tyler, they're coming here? You're bringing them here? I said, no, Mother, I'm talking about a Zoom call. I said, no, Mother, I'm talking about weekly meetings that we're having. And also I was thinking of coming back every week or every 2 weeks to each region to touch the members and to mobilize the members, yes, to come back here to Korea to help you, Mother. You obviously didn't get the part where she was really lit up by the idea of you being there. You're just thinking about the price of plane tickets. I totally understand. Okay, so listen, we're getting to the end. Okay, so I was thinking about staying here if that's what I should do and then going back occasionally. Yes, it would be good if you can bring young people from America to support Trump. Are there any young people in America willing to come to Korea to hold a sign of your president? I mean, you got to imagine the moment, okay, guys, if we're talking about flexing and bragging rights here, like you can imagine how many world leaders are coming in. How many do you think have thousands of young people waiting, hiding behind the trees? I don't know if they're really behind the trees. You know, ready to pounce the street and go, eee, and wave American flags, wave the flags of their country. Do you think it's going to happen? Shh, I hope nobody's watching online. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret. But Mother is asking the young people of America to come. Is it just young people or young at heart as well? Yeah, young at heart as well. So she said it would be good. And they should support Trump. If Korea, Japan, and America join forces, they are conducting the meeting in Gyeongju City, right? We should then cover all of Gyeongju City with our young people. So as soon as he arrives with the plane, we should be there to welcome him and give him a large applause and surprise him. America now is the main representative nation of democracy. And therefore, President Trump is the leader of that country and the representative of democracy worldwide. So it is essential that we welcome him, the United States President, and that we stand with him and that we stand together. So guys, really, let's get out of any political divide. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's really hurting us. And it doesn't matter, we'll vote however we want, 3 years later. That's not the point. The point is right now, this country is the last bastion of freedom and democracy. Europe needs you. Asia needs you. How the heck can we help anyone else if we don't stand up for freedom? Stand with our president. And Mother's asking us to. This is a direction. Have you ever heard that before? So bold. It's bold. And I'm saying it live on camera. So Mother, then, it is my understanding that I should stay here and go back and forth for now to continue with the extra mission you asked of me. And I gave her a brief report about upcoming things. We have the granddaughter of Nelson Mandela coming in a few days, and Dr. Kalfani from the United States. We're kind of bringing one or two people from overseas. Dr. Taj Hamad has been helping us. We've been working on this. Instead of doing a big conference, like just bring one or two and try to meet local ambassadors, meet ambassadors for peace, just eat together, walk through the garden at Hannam-dong together, share stories together. Just, Mother said, love them, love them. It's like soft power, heavenly diplomacy. Is that what you'd call it, Tom? Something like that? All right, sounds good. So she said, yes, stay at Hannam-dong and offer a lot of devotion so that the guests are able to sense the holy atmosphere, spirit and truth. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that you should raise miracles, and I'm sure that many righteous people will want to work with you. When I go to America, I try to meet as many righteous people as possible, even if just personally with one or two. At this time, when heaven is working on the earth, even one righteous person prepared by God can move a nation. Because of that, some may not be able to travel now all the way to Korea, but it may be possible to meet them in America. And then with that connection built over time in the future, they can come. It's like mothers facing imminent threats, bombs outside the window, but she's thinking about long arcs of human history and her place in it. And she's thinking about long tracks of the future. She knows the family federation future is bright. Bright like the morning sun. Golden like the morning sun. And she says, in the future they will come. And then she closed with this. She said, season of apples. It's interesting because all that week I had been trying to explain this diplomatic soft power mission she gave me. It says it's kind of like Johnny Appleseed multiplying, because she wants people to come to the house, feel mother's love, and then take that love and testify where they go. Kind of like little Johnny Appleseed. So she concluded with this. So we're in the season of apples. The apples are ripening, she said. The apples are ripening. Let's have some apple pie. Apples are ripening. She said, every apple has a time when it ripens. This is the season. Shall we conclude? She said, shall we conclude? But I'm asking you, shall we conclude? So, can you guys play? I want to read to you the lyrics to the German song. And this is a song that she sang to the pure water. Can we play that track? Lindenbaum tree. Is that a lime tree? Lindenbaum. That's a fruit. Lindenberry, not lindenberry. There we go. This is in German. This is the song that Mother remembers now. By the well, before the gate, stands a linden tree. In its shade I dreamt many a sweet dream. In its bark I carved many a word of love. In its bark I carved many a word of love. In joy and sorrow I was ever drawn to it. Today too I had to walk past it at the dead of night. Even in the darkness I closed my eyes, and its branches rustled as if they were calling to me. Come to me, friend, here you will find rest. The cold wind blew straight into my face. My hat flew from my head. I did not turn back. Now I am many hours' journey from that place, yet I still hear the rustling. There you will find rest. There you will find rest. Please take a moment to pray for Mother now. Beloved Mother, America is with you. We are with you. America is with you. We are here with you, Mother. Father in spirit world, please give us your wisdom and strength. Jesus and all the great saints in the spirit world, shine your love and power upon us that we can really embrace Mother, that no one else will be able to hurt and push and shove the only begotten daughter. God, we love you and we thank you for all of your blessings. Please, with all that are here in America, right now in Belvedere, in this beautiful place, in this season when the apples ripen, in this season when the trees are singing their final songs, when the birds and all of the insects are still playing, and the children find comfort in the sun to play on the grass, when our families are gathered together, and we remember that there's nothing worth fighting for that doesn't include our families. There's nothing worth fighting for that doesn't include God. There's nothing worth fighting for that doesn't include God's dream. There's nothing worth fighting for that doesn't include protecting, supporting our beloved true parents. Mother recently told me, she said, Demian, we came to America and we established the true family movement to heal the inner heart of that great nation. And we established the Washington Times to help America protect its democracy against communism at that time. And now it is time for America to stand up, to come to Korea and help Korea protect its democracy, to protect its freedom. Right now, that freedom is under threat. These things never happen with pronouncements. They happen etching away, like chipping away at the walls of concrete, one at a time, erecting new walls and new systems. Before you know it, the people each day going to and fro, going about their business, little do they know how governments, how institutions, and even the media, which is supposed to speak the truth to the people, moves and distorts our very future, selling us on bad ideas. Heavenly Parent, we ask that you can protect us, not with policies and politics, but with discernment, that we can know truly in our hearts what is true, this incredible, incredible creation that you have given us, these incredible lives that you have given us, this moment in time that we get to live physically here on the earth. And at this time, as if by miracle, the time that true parents walk among us, still with our beloved mother with us, the fulfillment and culmination of 6,000 biblical years. Heavenly Parent, you waited and longed for this time. And now we're standing at that time. All we can ever feel from Mother is her warm embrace. Sometimes it comes as a cool breeze on our face. Sometimes it comes as a warm cup of coffee and comfort food. Sometimes she delivers pizza and hamburgers to thousands of people at a time because she's worried that they might be tiring of Korean food. Mother's the one that thinks of all these details. Mother's the one that makes sure that we have refreshing water in the heat of the sun, or that we have warm clothes in the dead of winter. Mother's always thinking about these things, and she's only with us for one lifetime, and she's already in the final season of that lifetime. Many of us here may be of a similar age, but there is many among us, Heavenly Parent, that have decades ahead of us, maybe several decades ahead of us. And so those of us who are senior and those of us who are younger, let us be a people who knows that we are one family, the fruit of true parents, the fruit of your labor and love, God. And that we here in America, not only here in the Northeast or here at Belvedere, not only for all the countries represented, for those that might still be watching online, we ask that you can bless each one of these families, God. Bless each one of their parents, their children, their descendants. Bless the works that they are busy doing for you, God. Let them see how you belong in their work, God. Encourage them and give them the wisdom of discernment to know the blessing that we've been given, the blessing that we've been given so that we can stand up straight and noble and speak of our love for you, God, that we can be confident in our love for you, God. And let us go and tell people what we see. We are truly a beautiful people, a wonderful community. Sure, we've got problems, and half of us are crazy half the time. But that's probably because that's all you had left to work with. And we were the ones crazy enough to believe for long enough, to have faith long enough that we could get to this point. Right now, our church in Japan and our church in Korea is facing extreme, major, unprecedented challenges. But these are a people who have been through challenges before. And as we can hear from Mother's words, she knows. She knows. God, I ask that you can guide me, and you can guide all of our leaders and all of our blessed families in America, in Canada, and all over the world, to wrap our embrace around Mother at this time, to embrace her in our energy, in our warmth. And please help me bring this beloved nation's energy back to Korea, that we can breathe again, that we can be free again. Yes, let the truth come out. But the ultimate truth, God, is that you are our parent. And this precious land of Korea that was torn in half, families torn in half, lineages broken from one another, must be restored, longs to be restored, longs to find its true purpose. On the day, God, of our beloved true Father's Seonghwa anniversary, I bow down to you, God. I bow down for our true parents. And when I stood up again in that room, the room where true parents lived, I felt the earth of Korea, the history of Korea. I felt you speaking to me, and I saw the image of a grandmother in traditional clothes, in some traditional old-style house, stretching up her hand, crying for help. It's like the entire 5,000-year history of Korea that was being prepared for this moment, as longing to reach to heaven, to not only revere heaven, but to grab that final fruit, to grab that final victory, to fulfill its purpose as the chosen people, to recognize that they are the luckiest people on the planet, that Father was born there, that Mother was born there, and that the only begotten daughter who not only was born there, but fulfilled her mission and has been the greatest gift of Korea that's given to the world. They should be so proud of our true parents. Let Korea be proud of true parents. Let the Christians see them in their prayers. Jesus, speak to them in their prayers. If they are Christians, let them see you, Jesus. Speak to them in their prayers, Jesus. We love you. Please let us become one. Let the second and third and fourth generations vibrate with the knowing that they come from you and they come from true parents' victory, and that they are the pure water that should spread to all of the lands, to bless all of the people, and that even the far distant deserts shall be fruitful and prosperous. Please bless our members today. They've come from, many of them, far away, maybe many watching online, way beyond their bedtime. But Heavenly Parent, we're at a point of tremendous breakthrough. We don't want Mother to suffer anymore. Please, please, God, work through the mind of the judge. Let her rest in her own home as these people go about their busy work. And let us really remember the true Korea and the true Korean people, and let us protect the freedoms that so many young men spilled their blood for. Let us be grateful, God, for your love, your sunshine, your beauty in this beautiful world. And for each of our family, our friends, our community, we're grateful, God. We're grateful for the blessing that true parents have given us. So I offer this now in my name, in grateful attendance to Holy Mother Han, in my name, Demian Dunkley, of a blessed family, Arju.